This product is the backbone of my business, the foundation upon which all of it is built. In this video, I'm going to tell you the 5 ways that we use and the 5 reasons you need EcoWash, a rinseless wash product from Owner's Pride. Reason number 1, traditional rinseless washing. Real quick, we're going into the winter months. You're going to have a lot of mobile detailers out there without access to a hose. How do you rinseless wash? Well, you may know all about this, but essentially you use the rinseless wash product in a highly dilutable form. You pre-spray the panel and emulsifiers pick up the dirt so that when you put your wash medium across the paint, there's a lot less chance that you're going to scratch. Now, there are a lot of rinseless wash products out there that I've used and I love. The difference between those and EcoWash though, this has a nice foaming capability, which is sort of visually appealing, but also seems to have a lot of utility when I'm using it in my detailing, professional, day-to-day life. And when I say highly dilutable, I really mean it. Not only does this stuff smell amazing, but it's super economical. We buy it by the gallon, and I want to show you how we use it in a rinseless wash setting. You get your bucket of water, hopefully it's soft water, distilled water, but if you're out of direct sunlight in a cold garage like I was for the first couple of years of my winter detailing mobile career, you will probably use whatever water they have in the garage. So I'm just going to take 1 capful, that's it, 1 tiny capful to 4 or 5 gallons of water. Look at that blueberry scent, boom, goes right in there, easy peasy, that's all you need. And then I'm gonna use my sponge, right? The Optimum Polymer Technologies team knows all about the big red sponge. They came out with the big yellow sponge. You can use a traditional mitt if you'd like. You don't have to overthink this part. The sponge is cool because you're not putting a lot of pressure, right? It's a lot of even, easy pressure on the paint. Again, with rinseless especially, we do want to mitigate against possible scratch risk. Now this is my weapon of choice in the war against dirt. It's the Marilex Industry Ergo 2000. My ammunition, of course, is EcoWash. Now, you've got about a half a gallon of water in here. You could just use a spray bottle if you want. But obviously 1 cap to 4 gallons for your actual wash, this is gonna be a little different. I like a little more lubrication, a little more firepower, if we're gonna keep the metaphor going. 1 cap full to about a half a gallon, so definitely a higher dilution. I pumped up the Marilex sprayer. Now it's time for the pre-treat, and you're gonna see a little bit of that foaming action. I love to use product. I would probably be good at this point. And again, what this is doing, it's emulsifying the dirt, it's encapsulating the dirt. So after a little bit of dwell time, what it's gonna do is really reduce the amount of dirt that will drive into the panel as you wash. It's hopefully giving it a little bit of a buffer in those polymers. I'm just making all this stuff up. I have no idea how science or chemistry works. This is what they say. As you put the wash media on the panel, you're reducing scratch risk and you're doing a nice job of cleaning. This is what I'm talking about. Unlike your Optimum No Rinse or your Wipeout from American Detailer Garage, both of which I love, you see this foaming property. It's visually appealing, the smell is amazing, and I like to think some of that foam continues to work as the bubbles pop and as it brings the dirt down the panel. So this is the traditional rinseless wash method. If you're really looking at a dirty car, you probably do want to spray the car off first. But if it's not that dirty, or if it's just a real high volume shop, get it done kind of job, then you can start with the emulsifying and the wipe down. Otherwise, I would spray it down first. This is my slightly damp EcoWash sponge. Again, you can use whatever you want. And you're just essentially gonna move it back and forth across the panel. Real gentle pressure. Now you might say, well, are you driving dirt into the paint? It's certainly possible. You might wanna switch sides a little bit. But the idea is that dirt hopefully has a buffer. So as you drive over, you won't be driving dirt. You're just bringing that dirt into the sponge, caressing the paint. And if you're not familiar with the traditional rinseless wash method, you then take your sponge, you put it in the bucket, you rub it against that grit guard down there. You're hoping that the dirt will basically go down into that grit guard. You'll have a fresh-ish, kind of a fresh sponge. And then you'll continue across the vehicle like so. Reason number 2, this is for you foam junkies out there. I need the foam cannon, I need the suds. Well, unlike other rinseless washes, EcoWash can be put in a foam cannon. You could do 1 capful. I did 3 because if you're a foam junkie, you know who you are, you know what it is, and you want those suds. Let's give it a foam cannon bath. Why not, right? Not too bad for a rinseless wash, am I right? I love the foam cannon method if you have access to a hose. This way you get the entire car, you get a ton of dwell time. After that, I would pressure wash it off and then go about my rinseless wash. So obviously you can use the Marilex or the foam cannon to pre-spray. Then you're gonna wash the panel, right? And now it's time to clay. Obviously an iron decontamination product is what I'm gonna use in this scenario, but this stuff is liquid gold, right? You don't wanna waste this stuff. So I'm only gonna spray it once. All of a sudden that rat urine smell starts to permeate throughout the shop. You can let this dwell, right? You just don't want it to dry on the panel, and that's why it's nice to have the Owner's Pride EcoWash on the panel to keep it lubricated. So let's say I let it dwell for a couple of minutes. I walk around, I spray decon around the panel. You can use iron decon if you want to just waste all your money as your clay lube for the next step. But once we've done the pre-spray with the decon, we're probably not going back, and we're going to use that same dilution in the Marilex sprayer of EcoWash as my clay lube. So normally this would be a little bit drier, and so it wouldn't be as lubricated. So I'm going to spray it fresh on the panel. I'm gonna grab my clay bar, and I'm gonna go to town. I like to spray just ahead of where I'm gonna go, right? Now, am I wasting product? I don't know, maybe. But the lubrication of this stuff at 1 capful to about a ½ gallon, not as economical as in your rinseless wash bucket, but man, I do love it. It's so lubricated. I do love it. It's so lubricated. You've got the decon working on the surface. The EcoWash is reactivating the decon if it dried a little bit too much. And there's so much lubrication as you continue your process. Now I'm overdoing it because I love overdoing stuff. I've clayed that. Heck, you could clay your windshield, right? Get all the bug guts off. The possibilities are endless. A lot of people won't even use decon, right? They'll just use their rinseless wash product of choice as their clay lube, and this certainly fits the bill as well. But you can use your decon as a clay lube if you're really on a hammered vehicle. But I think a pre-spray with decon and then EcoWash as your lube, and you're good to go. And a quick plug for Owner's Pride Ceramic Detailer. By the way, they're not giving me free product and they're not giving me money. I'm just telling you what we use in our shop that works. Okay, when you have a rinseless wash situation here, you've got a wet panel, right? You want to spray your Meguiar's Express Spray Wax, your sealant of choice. In our shop, we love Ceramic Detailer. You've got your wet panel, and then this is going to be sort of your drying aid. So again, you're getting some lubrication on the surface. You've got the polymers from the EcoWash. Now I've got that Ceramic Detailer, which is going to drive in and be my last step product, which is going to be that protection. We're just going to rub it in like this. I mean, who knows what the proper technique is, but you know, you want nice gentle pressure. However you want to dry the panel is fine, but you're driving a ceramic sealant. Again, we call it pinky in our shop. We absolutely love it. It starts out kind of sticky, and then it buffs down so amazingly slick. But again, you're using the lubrication of the EcoWash of your last step product, and for a lot of detailing, if it's not a showroom car, this rinseless method is fantastic. And there you go. We're gonna let this dry on the panel, and then we'll show you some of the gloss and shine for a quick, easy process. So EcoWash is a great clay lube, but reason number 4 that we love it in our shop is as a sanding lube. Now, not everybody out there is gonna be wet sanding paint. I've got 2500 grit here with a KXK Dynamics Rid stick. Nice way to sand. The sandpaper's been sitting in my EcoWash bucket, and I see kind of a deep scratch here. So instead of introducing a lot of heat with a buffer, I'm just gonna hit it with some rinseless wash. Again, the sandpaper has been sitting in my rinseless wash bucket. I'm just going to go over the scratches. And I just feel like the foam, it just stays on the paint longer. In between passes, I like to give it a quick little spritz, just boom. Keep the sandpaper clean. Sometimes I'll clean off the panel to make sure that clear coat residue is gone as well. I can't even remember where I was sanding, but all right, so we'll wipe that down. We'll take a look at our sanding mark. Just one option that we really love it for. We like it better than water, and traditionally, old school guys will say, you always want to sand with soap. Well, this has replaced soap in our shop, and I really love it as a sanding lube. So you can hand sand, you can wet sand, great lube. What I also love it for, and I've been getting more into this because what it does is it cuts paint very cool in an even way, and you're gonna remove less clear coat than if you're buffing with a microfiber, really trying to grind into that paint and introduce a lot of heat. So I like to just kind of pre-treat the panel like this. The Rupes Duetto has a 12mm throw as opposed to like a 15mm throw, so it's less aggressive. I always DA sand on speed 1, maybe give the pad a little spritz. The more experience you have, probably the less moisture you're gonna use. But for safety, and maybe for all time, you should keep everything moist. So I've got my 3000 grit sanding disc from Rupes on the Duetto. The paint is nice and eco-washed, and I just love how it continues to foam. It's gonna give me lots of moisture as I go after just a nice even sanding pattern. Okay, here we go. It just gives you a lot of working time so that it may get a little confusing how much clear coat am I shaving off, because you usually get that froth from the clear coat. But I've tried water, distilled water, you want to stay clean. I prefer EcoWash. I just think it's a really nice, long working time sanding lube. So I'm going to dry this off, and just for fun, you can see what it looks like when you DA sand paint. And again, this will leave such an even scratch pattern, right? You see how hazy this is? So you don't need a ton of EcoWash if you're using 3000 grit. You go down in grit. Obviously you want to be more careful, but this leaves a nice even scratch pattern. All I'm going to do is buff that out, polish it to an amazing shine, but just gives you a sense that EcoWash can be used in so many different scenarios. Now let's say in a pinch, you're compounding the paint, it's starting to dust up on you a little bit, your pad's getting dry. What you can do is you can give EcoWash a quick spritz on the paint. I'm not quite sure if this works quite like water. Water will be a supplemental wetting agent and help you cut more. EcoWash has a lot of lubrication, so I can't guarantee it's gonna help you cut more. But in a pinch, if this is your all-purpose, so amazing, can do everything product and you have it sitting around, there you go, more moisture. See how that reactivated the compound that was still in the pad? All of a sudden it got white again. So it just gives you longer working time. Here I am trying to wipe the compound off. It's a little sticky, right? Little EcoWash helps wipe off your polish or your compound residue without re-scratching the paint, right? Because that's what we're doing here, is trying to remove scratches. Fresh plush towel. You can also use low nap, but of course that's not why you're watching this video. You know how to polish, you're just here to watch EcoWash, but here we are, I can't help myself. How amazing is that Koch Chemie with a microfiber pad? Not only have we refined that scratch pattern, well, there's some haze in there still from my microfiber, but it doesn't look bad, right? I've seen far worse, but yeah, it's pretty DA hazy. But anyway, we would refine that with a polisher, and that's for another video. But yeah, looks pretty good, right? All thanks to EcoWash as my partner in crime. And reason number 5 why you need EcoWash. Look, if there was one product that I had to use to detail a car, one, they say you go on a stranded island, what's the one food you'd eat for the rest of your life? What's the one product? I gotta say it's EcoWash, and it's because of the interiors. Now, I'm gonna link up to a video I did about Polestar from Koch Chemie. It's an amazing interior cleaner. The one thing that it doesn't do that EcoWash does is it sort of de-streaks things. EcoWash is good on windows, and it's good as a little bit less aggressive cleaner than a Polestar at good wipe downs, final wipe downs, and if you use the right kind of rags and steam and brushes, depending on how you dilute this, it can actually be a very effective cleaner as well. So I'm gonna show you that right now. So I can just get crazy with it. I can do door jambs, windows. It's just one of these neutral cleaners that's not gonna hurt anything. And you can let it dwell, you can do whatever you want, but you've got this cleaner that's gonna leave behind some polymers. So especially on a not super dirty vehicle, right? A wipe down or a detail, but man, if you dilute it kind of heavy like I have in this Marilex sprayer, right? Because that's the same dilution that I had, there's a coin. That's the same dilution that I had for my clay lube, so it's a nice strong dilution. You're gonna leave a nice sheen behind, and you're gonna clean really well. Now, you're looking at the windows. What's my window standard operating procedure? I like a magic eraser, followed by a couple of dry towels, maybe even some isopropyl alcohol, 70%, or your paint prep, right? But in the moment, if you're trying to de-streakify little pieces of chrome, or a leather streak from a leather conditioner, or if you're not as crazy as I am, just windows. A lot of people swear by Rinseless Wash for windows, and that is where this truly can shine. Of course, you just want to box the windows, as they say, so make sure you get all the way up into here. You want to work clean sides, maybe even grab a fresh towel. Again, I prefer kind of the waffle weaves. So I'd let that dry, I'd check in it, make sure that there's no streaks. But the cool thing about EcoWash is it kind of streaks when it's wet, and then as it dries, the streaks kind of disappear. You guys, EcoWash, it's an amazing product. This is not a sponsored video. If you've heard about it and you want to try it, I would highly recommend it. I'm trying to make you a better detailer. That's why we have this channel. Let me know what you use for Rinseless Wash and if you tried EcoWash. As always, Nick from Hawk Pro Detailing, where my goal is to make you a better detailer.